Hello everybody, Steffi here from The Makers. And today you're here because you want to make one of these little cuties. It's a very simple and easy project, totally suitable for beginners. It involves making one needle felted shape and then attaching two little shapes for ears. So it's a really easy project, and they're very cute with their little cotton tails. You can make them in any color you want. They don't need to be natural colors, they can be dyed colors too. And I've got a whole range here in my sheep pen of colors that you could be using. So from a grey to a brown, a beige to a white, any of those colors will work. And I'm actually using today our alpaca mix, which I've just realized isn't listed. So we will get on to that as quickly as we can so that it's available to buy. It's super soft. It is an alpaca wool mix, so it has got some of the properties of the wool, which helps it to felt a little bit faster. You just need a smidgen of a bit of pink, a little bit of white, and then you need some black for the eyes, because we're needle felting the eyes today. So what I want to do is, first of all, I want to say hello to people here. Let's see who is in the house. And whilst I'm looking here, I'll let you have a little look at what is up for grabs today, that you can win yourself. So this is our giveaway that takes place every Tuesday at 1 o'clock on our live stream on YouTube, and then again at 7 p.m. on Thursday on our Facebook page. Now, our Facebook page is themakers.co.uk if you haven't found us yet. Yes, it has got that .co.uk, so you search for that whole phrase in Facebook to find us, and we repeat this live stream on Thursday at 7 p.m. And you can win yourself a £15 gift voucher if you put into the comments, whether this is on YouTube or on Facebook, tell us about your first pet. So what was your first pet? Tell us about it. I'm expecting exotic ones, I'm expecting funny ones, I'm expecting just the normal box standard pets, but I'm sure you've got a lovely story to tell about it. But then if you've never had one, then tell us what would you have liked to have had. So for example, I've always wanted a dog. I never got one, but I got a budgerigar instead, and I absolutely love budgerigars. So it's not as if they're in the slightest bit less valuable than a dog. But anyway, tell us what was your first pet, and if you didn't have one, what would you have liked to have had? Right, so we've got Erica here. Hello Erica, all the way from the Netherlands. Ashley, hi Ashley. We've got Trisha here. Oh, Ashley's fox arrived yesterday, so that's good. I'm just going to put my phone here on mute. Diane is there. Hello. And Olga is there. Olga can only join us for the first part, but always lovely to watch and stuff. Sandra is there. Diana. I will just say this, Diana, thank you so much for your wonderful, heartfelt, lovely message. It was read out to me yesterday by one of my colleagues, because I had one of those mornings, you know, where you feel, sometimes you feel you're going one step forward and a quarter of a step backwards. And so my colleague spotted the message before, and she said, hang on, Steffi, listen to this. And I was waiting for the but. All these lovely words came out and more. And I was like, oh my God, this is just too good to be true. And I was like, where's the but? Where's the but? And there wasn't one. So thank you so much for a most beautiful message. Anyway, that had to be said. Laura. Hi, Laura. Carol. Vampire Venema there. She's in the course of my lunch break. My sub boxes have auto-ordered and been packed. I have the shop up. Haha, that's clever. Awkward Prawn is there. Elaine is there. Karen is there. Melanie. I couldn't get on the chat last time, says Elaine, but she has today. Yay, well done. Catherine is there. Hi, Catherine. Pamela, all the way from Oregon. Just opening my eyes this morning. Good to be here. It's good to have you here. And we have got two Elaines apparently, and one we met at Birmingham. Carol, another Carol is here without the E, and Lily is there. Gillian, I met you, Gillian. and Alicia met you too. Alison is there, Susan is there, Dawn, Rita, Michael, Esther, Sandra, in case I haven't mentioned you before, but I have a feeling I have, because you're already coming up with pets that you've had. They're all coming through now. Coco is here. Bridget is there. Hi, Bridget from Australia. I love it when all these people come from all around the corners of the world. It's just very special to imagine that I'm talking to somebody in America or in Australia, or even just somewhere on mainland Europe. So lovely. Right. So if you don't know this yet, this project is actually featured in the Making Simple Needle Felts book. I wrote this book a few years ago now, I can't remember when. And if you buy a copy from us, the makers, then you get your signed copy too. If you want a personal message in there, just let us know and I'll do my very best to get that written in there as well. And the bunny is actually part of the spring section. The book is let's just have a little flick through this book. Oh gosh. Let's hope that this is in the right place. Just about. Sorry, I just need to adjust it a little bit. So let's show you the bunnies a little bit closer up as well. This is what we're making today. Little bunny. Both of those have got glue-in eyes in, but I am making one today with needle felted eyes. And so this is the book. It's split into 4 seasons, and then it's got a section right at the front on fairies as well. Been doing them for a while actually. And there is the bunny page, starting on page 51 if you've got the book and you need to find it. And it's in the spring section together with a baby barn owl and the hen and chicks. Now, whilst we're talking about this kit is now available to purchase on our website. It is the slightly larger version. This one here looks about the same size, but this one here is blown up a little bit in terms of the photo is blown up. And what's special about it is got this lovely cavity inside that you can pop onto an egg there, like this, as an egg cozy, or you can hide a handful of chicks inside. It makes 5 tiny little chicks, and they sort of fit nicely into that cavity, and a nice little surprise for children, or maybe for yourself as well. So that kit is now available. I've got a little thumbnail I can show you as well, which is it this one? Yes, I think it's this one. There we go. That's the hen with chicks, now available. You can make the hen together with 5 little chicks. It's a kit, which means that all the tools and everything else is in there. And flicking through the book, so this is the spring project. We have chosen to make a few out of this book this year, so that you will see some other familiar ones that you might have seen in the book pop up on our live streams here. I really still like the book because there's something about it where you can make some really simple things, like for example you can craft with your children as well. So these butterflies, they're actually not even needle felted, they're just wool tops and a bit of pipe cleaner, and you can just make them into really beautiful lovely butterflies. There's also a bee project in there, I think that's in the summer section, where you go and collect little alder tree cones from anywhere really, wherever, and they don't need to be needle felted. So and there is actually a little section there of how to make them. So if you want to craft with children, for children, and you make loads of them, I know that they look always better in larger quantities. And that is the Making Simple Needle Felts by Hawthorne Press. And if you buy it from us, then you get a signed copy. Right, that's where the bunnies are coming out from today, and we will start with those in a minute. Before I do this, I just need to lean forward, but whilst I'm doing that, I'm just going to show you what else is new. We have a special edition of our needle felted bunny. Now, this is not the simple bunny that I'm talking about. This is the slightly more a complicated bunny, only in that you are making the body, the head, the legs, the ears and the tail separately. But we've only got 7 kits left, so we recently ran that as a workshop, which works really lovely, and we came back with 7 spare bunnies which we've turned into kits for you, so you can get those from us now if you want to. And that is that out of the way. Reason why I had to lean forward is because my computer wasn't plugged in, and I would have run out of battery, which would have been awful. So I just plugged it in, and we're all in business now. Right. Let's start with looking at the instructions in the book, what is actually required to make the bunny. Remember our competition works that you put a comment into the comments here. You tell us what your first pet was, or if you didn't have one, what you would have liked to have had, and then Alicia will do a random selection of 2 winners for 15 £15 gift voucher, and that's today live, which is the 5th, I think, the 5th of April. And it will also be repeated on the 7th of April. So if you're watching this any other time when it's not live, then don't wonder why you can't participate. So basically, you will need 15 grams of a single colored short fiber wool bat in brown, beige, white, or even gray. And there's a whole suggestion. So we've got the milk sheep, which is a dark brown. I won't do a dark brown one because it never shows that well under the camera. You can do what we call our hair brown. We have got a country sheep, which is like a medium brown, but it's so that is fine. Gotland Island, which is grey or even white. Gotland fox sheep, which is beige. And so the one that I'm using, as I said, is this one here, which is the alpaca mix. And then I've got a wisp of white, wisp of black, and a wisp of pink. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll put this book a little bit to the side. These are the bunnies we're making, so they can stay here for now. And you basically have got your wool here, and you make 2 ears basically. That's not necessarily what you have to do first, but you need to bear in mind that you have to keep some of this wool to make the ears. So so you're going to, oh dear, I'm going to do this my way. I mean, the book is my way too, but I can't be bothered to read the whole text now. Right, I'm going to take a generous pinch off. That will be definitely enough for the 2 ears and any extra bits that I might need. The rest of it I now have to sort out so that I can roll it into a shape. And if you've got bits of wool like this, because it comes off, it's best to organize it first. So I'm going to roll it that way. So this is my largest patch that I've found here. I'm going to lay the others on top. So make sure that you straighten them out and neaten them out, lay it on top, so that in theory the largest part is underneath. That looks completely like it covers all of it, and then the bits on top, they're on top basically. And now I'm going to roll this up, but because what I want to do is I want to have like a slightly bigger bum on this side and a slightly more tapered shape on this side, I'm actually folding this side in a little bit, just so that I get that bulk here and not so much here. And as you're, like with all basic shapes that I show you how to do it, you tease the wool out to get, always as you're getting closer to it, you tease it out further away, because what you want to do is you want to get to a point where if you fold the last wispy ends over, they literally melt into your shape so that you can hardly see them. They are there, but you fold them over so that they just literally melt into the shape. And then you get your felting needle. Got my earth-friendly felting mat here. It's only been used a little bit and then cleaned. Get your felting needle that's the most suitable for your wool. If you've got a coarse fiber, use a coarse needle. If you've got a finer fiber, then you might have to go down needle sizes. I'm using a medium here. This fiber is quite fine, and I'm literally just stabbing these wispy ends into the shape just so I can let go of it and it doesn't pop open. Now, because I've folded one side in, it looks a little bit like a little snaily shell there. You can adjust this by just teasing some of the unfelted fibers out and sort of closing up that shape like that, so you make that disappear. If that isn't possible, obviously you have to felt that down so that it literally covers it up. If that isn't possible, then take a really thin layer, like a dusting, of wool, and lay it over anything that looks sort of slightly unsightful. So at the moment it's quite squishy. I haven't felted this very much at all because I've kept it soft so I can sculpt the shape now. So if this hasn't worked with pulling the wool over, then just take a little bit from your pinch that you've separated and lay this over the area that you want to cover up. So you're not building bulk, you're literally just neatening out something that doesn't look neat already. And I love this about needle felting, that you can literally cover up cracks and hide things away that you want to hide away. And now what I'm doing is I'm stabbing the shape, and I'm actually going into the core of it. So I'm not just stabbing the surface, because I want to make sure that I'm making this shape quite a bit smaller, but also I want to make sure that it has a nice round shape here, certainly at the back. I haven't touched this side yet. This is still quite open and wispy. I'm just literally working on this part here, and I'm working my way forward. Now, to make this slightly more stumpy like that, instead of just stabbing into the back, which then you make that flat here, you can actually stab at a shallow angle. So the angle that I'm going in is I'm going in the direction where the shape needs to be reduced in size, but at the same time I am not making that back here flat. So if I just stabbed into this area here, I can show you. Let's make it flat so you can see. All I'm doing is I'm making this like a really flat space. You can compensate by going around it again. So it's not like you've messed anything up with needle felting. There's lots of ways, you get lots of chances of putting things right. But you can also achieve the shape to stay nice and round by going into the shape at a shallow angle. And then you've got to make this bit here. I'm just going to tuck the fibers in, because I want to now make this also shapely, but it's going to be the head. And whilst I'm in the book, I'm almost talking about making a mouse shape. I don't want it to be as pointy a nose as a mouse, but it is definitely more of a tapered shape, that end, than it is at the other end, which is like a round little bum. And I don't know if I've told you my baby bunny story. I might have. Maybe some of you have heard it before, so I do apologize. I have to make a note of all the stories I'm telling. When I used to be, so I started my working life as a shipping clerk in the northern port in Germany, and as an apprenticeship there. So I had an apprenticeship, and I would go to college still 2 or 3 times a week, and then for the rest of time I literally learned the trade in all the different departments of this quite large company. And one of the perks was that as an apprentice you could earn yourself extra money by working on the docks. Now that was unheard of a female to do it, but as you probably worked out by now, I'm quite strong-willed, so and I'm very I'm a great supporter of equal rights, and I absolutely pushed and pushed and pushed, and I said, I can do this work just as well as any other man, and so let me do it, it's not fair. So they did let me do it, and I also insisted that I was doing the same work as everybody else, and at the time it just entailed really driving cars off a ship and fasten them onto the ships if need be, or driving them off railway wagons. And it all had to happen quite fast, so it was quite an experience for me. But what has that got to do with a rabbit? It only has something to do with a rabbit in that you obviously had to wear the work wear, which was like big sort of overalls, and then safety shoes and a safety hat. And that still has nothing to do with a rabbit. But what basically happened was that I could see this tiny little brown rabbit running back and forth on the fence of the compound, and it had somehow managed to be on the wrong side of the fence, and I couldn't help it to go to the other side of the fence because the fence was too tall and there was no hole in it, and I couldn't walk around it. So I stuffed it into my boiler suit pocket and carried it around until the end of the shift. And then I was a bit stuck because I thought I can't just let it free because I don't know where it came from. I don't know where his mum is. So I took him home, as you do. He was literally a handful of fur, and and I really didn't know actually what it was. And it was a Sunday, and if you've ever been to Germany, even now, there's not a single shop open on a Sunday, so I couldn't buy any food, nothing at all. I didn't know what to get, didn't know what to feed a baby bunny, and no internet at the time, so I couldn't research it. But luckily, the neighbor where I lived, she just had a baby and she had formula milk. So I thought, oh, what's good for babies must be good for baby bunnies. And I borrowed some formula milk and started feeding that little bunny formula milk. I also found out that it was very partial to porridge. So it got porridge in the following days, and didn't have any teeth or anything. So it couldn't really gnaw on a carrot or anything like this. Now, the surprise all happened when that bunny turned out to be not a bunny at all, but it was a great big hare. And as it grew bigger, the ears grew longer, the legs grew longer, and it became extremely strong and wild. And I had to actually rehome it at a wildlife center, because there was just no way this bunny was ever going to stay in a cage. And also, it didn't obviously know how to look after itself in the wild, thanks to me. So we drove all the way to across the Dutch border actually, and took it to a wildlife reserve where, as far as I know, it lived happily ever after. So anyway, that's my bunny story, but it was actually a hare. And I can tell you, you will notice a difference between a bunny and a hare, especially when they get bigger. Not when he was little. Um, Probably an expert would have known, but I didn't. So there you go. Right. In the meantime, while I've been doing this, I've been felting the shape now, so that it's more tapered at this end and it's rounder at this end. So if you want to catch up with this for now, then I'll let you catch up, and I'm going to just see what first pets. Maybe you could say that was my first pet, but it was actually not my first pet. Oh, we've got more people joining. Oh my goodness, so many comments. This is when I'm so sad I can't read them all, but if I read them all, you just be listening to me reading them all. Oh, Susan is from America as well. Um, uh, okay. Oh, Diane, you couldn't hear me because you were on mute this time. Well, normally it's the other way around. Rita is there. Hi, Rita. Rita, I haven't read your name out yet. Um, So the first pet, Vampire Venom says, was when I was about 9 months old, were two kittens. Oh no, Crystal unfortunately got hit by a car, so I don't remember him. But Topaz lived until he was 11. What beautiful names for kittens. Sandra says, my first pet when I was a child was a cat called Fluffy. You can guess it was a fluffy cat, of course. Ashley says, had a dog, catfish, budgies, and a large rabbit growing up. Yes, at the same time. I love it. My children have always had loads of pets. It's just been, what can I say? Because I wasn't allowed pets when I was a child, other than a budgerigar. I've always said my children grew up with pets, and they did, but it was often, we had all kinds of things. What did we have? So we had everything. We had mice. No, we didn't have actually mice. We had rats. We had gerbils and rats. There's a funny story to one of my children's pet rat. So the older two, they were sort of maybe 9 and 10, and the little one, she was only 3 or 4, and she complained bitterly because she didn't get a pet rat, so we had to go out and get another pet rat. Now, pet rats usually, I mean, we didn't buy them from a pet shop, we bought them from avid breeders. Like, it's harder to adopt a rat than a child, literally. You have to sign a contract and all the rest of it. So they were definitely very precious animals. And we brought this third rat home, and I asked my daughter, I said, now what would you like to call your rat? And she said Froggy. So we had a rat called Froggy, which I think we should have probably had the competition. What funny pet names did you have for your animals? I just thought that was so funny. I had a little rat called Froggy. Anyway, Lily says, adopted a 10-month-old dog a few months ago, had to send her to training camp doing DNA, think she's part hound dog. My goodness. Finds everything but tough at this age, like having a toddler. Oh yes, but they grow faster than toddlers. So Coco says, my first pet was a lovely black cat. Erica says, our hamster had a whole gym school for himself. We made lots of things for him to hang on and toilet rolls to run through. Had lots of fun. Yeah, hamster. We had hamsters too. One disappeared under the floorboards and never came out again. And our gerbils also met with, well, actually, they lived quite happily for quite a long time, but they had their tails eaten by our cat. We were warned in the pet shop for that. They said, have you got cats? Yes, we have got cats. Make sure they don't eat the tails. And we just laughed. We just said, they don't eat the tails of the gerbils, but they did. But anyway, they lived without tails, so that was okay. First pets, Prince and Sandy, both Shetland sheepdogs. Sooty, a black cat. My parents had no imagination with names. We also had bunnies, mice, guinea pigs, rats, a snake, a pony, and hamsters. Well, no wonder you all love needle felting, because there's so many animals you can needle felt in memory of your pets. Susan says, my first pet was an invisible bunny with purple spots who lived in a very tattooed shoe box. Can't remember his name, but I took him everywhere. I love it. Catherine says, we had rabbits first. Mine was called Dylan, after my favorite children's TV program at the time. We also had a monkey that lived in the airing cupboard, but that's a whole different... Okay, lots of imaginary animals here. Karen says, my sister and I first pet was a goldfish each. Very original names. Mine was Sylvie, as it was silver, and my sister's was Goldie, being gold. Michael says, oh, let's have a look what Michael's first pet was. First pet was a big white rabbit with the highly original name of Snowball. I love it. Melanie says, my first pet was a Heinz 57 dog called Patch. He was white with a black patch over his ear, hence the name, I guess. I had him from about age 6 to age 18, 19. I loved him. We also had a rabbit, a guinea pig, and a budgie. Carol says, my first pet was a sausage dog born on my birthday. Oh, that's so special. Julia says, budgerigar, called, guess what? Joey. He was blue and beautiful. My first pet was a yellow budgerigar, and she who was meant to be a he turned out to be a she, and she was called Purzel, Purzel, which is so in German, if you do a somersault, it's called Purzelbaum, which is basically, so it's half of the somersault, I suppose, but Purzel, so it's like tumble. That's probably what it is, the best translation. Olga says, I have the hair brown, just used it for the markings on a turtle, but plenty left. Excellent, you can use that for your bunny. And Dawn says, I'm told my first pet was an imaginary budgie, and I used to wander around everywhere with my pointy finger poking out, and he'd sit there all day, no matter what I did. Oh, I'm loving these answers. Ashley says, my current dog is lying beside me snoring, so I had to turn the volume up. Trisha says, my dog called Janie was a pedigree with a huge name. Unfortunately, she didn't know she was a pedigree and was a mischief maker and would go into dustbins, coming out covered in grease and ashes. I am sure that pedigree dogs are allowed to do this, whether they know it or not. Oh, Ola. Hi, Ola. Haven't seen you in ages. From Kuwait again. Yes, of course. I met you at a show. Bridget says, I forgot how much I enjoy Steffi stabbing and chatting. Oh, bless you. Diane says, my first pet was bought when I was 1 year old. A little black kitten with gorgeous yellow eyes. Her name was Tosca Nene, and lived to be 20 years old. Oh, Heather says, good afternoon, everyone. Well, good afternoon, Heather. Vampire Venom says, I was an apprentice freight forwarder too. Mainly air freight and predominantly aviation spaces, did also do the import docs for some of the aquatic trade. Well, mine was shipping. I was in the shipping industry. So yes, lots of import documents. In fact, doing them now reminds me a little bit of when I was an apprentice. So talking about moving forward in time, we're actually gone backwards. Well done, the UK. Julia says, even hubby is laughing. Oh. Oh, I hope it's a good laugh and not a yeah, whatever laugh. Oh, 50 people, thumbs up. Come on, guys, give us the thumbs up. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are over 5,000. Never thought I'd see the day, but here we are. So let's aim for the next 5,000. Oh yes. Okay, I get this one. Morning cats, says Alicia. PA is for Pennsylvania, Steffi, not Panama, as I very foolishly said. So Trish says, I'm late, only just got internet back, thanks. By the BT. Oh, thanks BT, yes. What is Alicia saying? Haha, yes, my first pet that I remember was a cat named Calico. She was a calico cat. I was only 3. Oh. And Cat also had rats. We've got lots of. So Donna's first pet was a cat called Jerry. My brother had Tom. Okay, right. Let's work on this one here. So what you're going to do next is, because this is all in one shape, so you're going to have to start sculpting it a little bit. So we need to make sure that you are stabbing into the base. So this is the chin that I'm stabbing right now, so that you've got a bit of a ledge here, which is basically going to be, if you imagine the tucked in legs, and it's sort of about 1/3 into the body, including the head. So if you now look at it, you've got your head shape here, and then you've got sort of the legs tucked under. But then you need to turn it around, and you need to stab that tummy flat so that it actually stays on there without tumbling around to the side. So I'm just stabbing that flat. Notice that I'm going literally only in the center. So I'm almost making a bit of an indentation here. But if I now lie it onto my, so if you now imagine it's lying down like this, it's got a little bit like the head is raised, the tummy is flat, and it's nice and shapely in that way. So what you can do is, if you want to, you can sculpt some little lines now into the body where you imagine the haunches to be. So you can just do a little shape here, and then you can also do a little shape here for the front foot, and then stop the middle a little bit more. So imagine that none of this is visible when it's when you look at it later, and then do this on the other side as well. So make sure that the two of them are as symmetrical as you can manage it. So you're just literally putting the line in where you imagine the legs, and so that it's a bit of a hint of a shaping rather than making the legs separately. But most importantly, what you're going to do next is you're going to make the ears. And it's the ears that make sure that you've got a bunny there. And to make the ears, you take a pinch of wool, something maybe like that, lay it flat on your mat, and now you're going to paint the shape of an ear, or the surround of an ear on there. Now when you stab anything flat, you stab in the middle as well. As everybody knows, you can't stab too deep because you're just fastening the shape on, and you have to lift it off fairly quickly as well. But before I do this, I'm just going to fold these wispy outer fibers into the center and stab them down. So I have actually now got an ear shape literally on my mat here. And now it's time to peel it off gently. There. And now you've got an ear shape, but you need to work on it by neatening it up. So you stab it from both sides, and the stabs are definitely quite shallow because I want to felt the wool into the ear itself, but because it's a flat shape, there's no point stabbing really deep because it'll just come out on the other side and then go straight into the felting mat, at which point you've got a long fiber sticking out on the other side when you peel it off the mat. So make sure that you slowly but surely felt the fibers together in itself rather than onto the mat. And once you've made one ear, you've got this job to make another one that's as similar as possible, which is always the challenge, because making two things the same seems to be hard with needle felting. But it's okay because nothing's ever exactly the same. There we go. So one ear done, and now I'm going to take the next one. And again, I'm repeating this, so I'm actually only making sort of the outer line of the ear, roughly the same size. There are other ways of making ears. This is just one way. It's the thing with needle felting, many ways to get to the same result. push those fibers in. So they're all the fibers from the outside are now all tucked in into that ear shape. Keep this bit here wispy, don't felt that flat or secure, just keep it unfelted. And then this is the first time I'm lifting this off the mat now. So I'm felting the other side. I've recently watched some tutorials myself, and I hope I'm not offending anybody if I'm saying this now, but I see so many people, they've got these artificial fingernails on. Well, I think they're artificial, and they're so long, I have no idea how they can hold any tools in their hand. I'm just mesmerized watching them. I never watch what they're actually doing because I'm just so completely baffled. I've never had fake fingernails. I'm always so baffled how anybody can use these ginormous long fingernails, and then I'm always thinking, well, that's one thing, crafting, but what about doing all the other chores that you do every day? Like, I don't know, I go to the gym quite a lot, or washing up, or anything really, just without poking yourself to death doing this. But anyway, that's just me. Right, 2 ears ready to attach to our bunny. Now you can attach the ears either so they're facing outward, so like that basically, they're facing out, or you can attach them so they're facing forward. Both of it is right, it's just personal preference. The way to attach them is by opening up these wispy ends that you've left here unfelted, so that they make a nice shape. So it's quite wispy, but that's fine. So I'm going to attach these ears sideways and put them on top of the head. And all you need to do for now is just stab into these wispy ends so they melt into the shape of the body and the head. You don't need to worry that it looks like it's been attached. And then once it's attached and you can let go of it a bit, you just give that, where's my head gone there? You're just going to pinch that ear so that you can now felt, not into your fingers, but you can now felt into that shape that you've created by pinching the ear. You might have to fasten it on all around again. So pinch it so that the ear is now like a little hollow bit sticking out, and it narrows the bit where it attaches to the head, so it's not as broad anymore. So if it looks really broad once you attach it like it does here, let's repeat that again. So open these wispy fibers up like that, and then attach it. Even though it looks like really broad, don't worry about it, just get it so that you can let go of it. So this is the ear I've worked on, this is the ear I've just attached, and then you're pinching it in the middle where you want it to be slightly curved inward, so the ears are facing outward in my case. If they're facing forward, you do exactly the same, but obviously with the ear facing forward. And then you stab into that area so that the ear is now more shaped, and then you might have to go around it's actually such a lovely bunny color, that alpaca mix. Must get that listed, definitely. It was one of the wools that we had in our advent calendar, so, which by the way, we're working very hard on the advent calendars for this Christmas. Dear oh dear, things do happen quite quickly, but I worked last week on getting all the workshops sorted for the knitting and stitching shows that we go to, and I just had to literally step away from spring, looking forward to the warmer days, and I had to imagine what it's like being in the winter again, and I came up with some really nice ideas, so I'm sure you will love them, and they will somehow make their way into the makers live streams, no doubt. Right, but I'm not giving it away yet. Right. So I've got the 2 ears attached now. They're facing outward like this. Now you've got a choice. You can add a tiny little bit of pink wool. Where's my wool gone? Ah, it's on the floor. Okay. Can add a tiny little bit of pink, like a tiny wisp, so that it sits inside the ear. Just add that into it. I've also now got it all worked out what we're doing at Wonderwool at the end of this month. Wonderwool is in Wales, and it's a wool show, the closest to us in terms of locality. And we are going to run mini workshops on making a needle felted pendant in aid of the Ukraine, but we're also making sheep brooches as a make and take. So we're running our own workshops. There you go. Got a little bunny there. It's got no eyes. It's got very few features. It's got ears, which is important to make it look like a bunny. So do make the ears longer if in doubt, because shorter ears might make it look like a mouse, even though baby bunnies have got short ears. And that's how far we have got so far. Let's hold it up so you can see two. There you go. That's what it looks like so far. Okay, what else can I tell you? So I have also now got the best idea ever for the summer retreat, but I'm not going to tell you yet. Oh, and it's not a gnome, and it's still a large figure, and I can't wait to make it, but it's not a gnome anymore. You'll love it. But I'm not going to tell you anything else just yet until I've done it, and then it will be a surprise. So we've done oh yes, next live streams. Let's talk about that. Right, we've got coming up next week the butterfly fairy, which is the purple emperor from our fairy subscription box, and that is on the 12th of April at 1 o'clock. Then on Tuesday we're going a bit different altogether, but if you have got little winged friends in your house like I have had, then you might have some of your jumpers or woolly clothes that have been moth eaten, and I'm going to show you how to fix them again. Or maybe you just want to upcycle some of your textiles, some of your soft furnishings, then that's a definite good one to watch. And then on the 26th of April, the following Tuesday, we have got needle felted cacti. So that's going to be a nice one to look forward to as well, especially because if you still got your green finger cactus, green cactus tops, these will be used for that. So yeah, a good one to look forward to. Right, little bunny needs his eyes and features in the face, so I'm going to spend a little bit on time on the eyes, but I just want to have a quick look here. Oh yes, and also what I wanted to say is, remember, you can still get your posable bunny with a carrot. That has been a live stream, so if you want to make him with along me, then you can, or there is a full set of instructions in there step by step, as well as all the tools, so you can do it under your own steam as well. But the posable bunny is definitely still available to purchase from our website. And imagine you have you've got a little egg cozy there of a hen together with your bunny and the posable bunny. It's a Christmas scene already made up. And then if you have a close look, you will see that last year we did a needle felted Easter egg as well. So yeah, you've got it all. Needle felted Easter egg. We've done daffodils before. We've done the primroses, which are sitting up on the shelf here, but it's still time for the primroses to be out there. You've got everything there to make yourself an amazing Christmas, no, Easter decoration up, all just with Makers live streams and all the Makers goodies. A lot of it is probably from things that you've already got at home. Right, let's have a look at yeah, we talked about that. Oh, hi Lorna, nearly missed you, but you're here. My first pet was a dog named Lady, says Rose. And Lorna says it looks nothing like a bunny yet. Well, this one does now, but I'm sure before the ears are on, it doesn't. I agree with you. I have thought that about the nails too. Well, I am absolutely, it is a skill. It's a life skill. I'm in nail envy, I think. How do you use your hands with these ginormous long nails on it? But maybe there are some people here who do it every day, and maybe they can give us some tips. No, you can't play the harp with long nails, apparently, says Catherine. I've no idea how people do anything with those. I couldn't hold a pen with 1 centimeter long ones, and I see people holding delicate animals with long and pointy sharp ones, and I'm terrified of the poor thing. I'm the same. It's just like, yeah, that's it. Oh well, I'm glad I'm not the only one. That's weird. Oh, thank you, Lorna. It's starting to look like a bunny now. That's good. Vampire Venom says, I sometimes use old polo shirts as backing for 2D pieces. Good idea. Um, he's so sweet, so Stone. Thank you. So sorry, had a visitor, but we'll watch it all later. Now, we haven't heard from a single person who hasn't had a pet as a child. You've all been so lucky, honestly. I begged and begged and begged. I so wanted a dog. I wanted all these things, but I don't know. My parents just didn't like pets. So I know, horrible. Anyway, I ended up with a Budgerigar, so that was my pet. But anybody else who hasn't had a pet? Sylvia says my first pet was a black spaniel. Oh, well, okay. So Bridget, I'm sure you have Easter at the same date as we have because you're working with a 12-month calendar like we do. And there's one thing for sure: Christmas and Easter is always the same because it's all got to do with Jesus and the days in between and when he went on the cross and when he came back and all the rest of it. I don't know the details. It's always a bit of a mystery to me as well. But I'm sure Mother's Day is not the same necessarily in different countries because I know we've just had it in the UK and in Germany it's not until May. So, but I'm pretty certain you can rest assured about Easter. That is definitely going to be the same in Australia as it is in the UK, albeit with a time difference, of course. Right, let's tackle those eyes. So, different ways of making them again. If you like your bunny to have sort of a bit of a, can you see it here, like a bit of a sheepish look, so you can put a bit of white underneath the black. Remember, these are not needle felted. These are glue-in eyes. The reason why I'm needle felting these eyes is we're not ever saying that these things will become toys for children, but if you want to be 100% sure that there aren't little bits in a felted object, then do needle felt the eyes because this is just wool then. But if you want to make a little bit of a white like a white surround, then take a wisp of your white. You really don't need very much at all. And just first of all, it's always good to felt a little indentation where you imagine the eyes are going to go. This is not just so that you know where to put the eyes. This is also helping to shape the head, and then do that on the other side as well. Because bunnies have actually got quite narrow heads, so this is making the head a little bit more shapely. This is where the eyes are going. So put that little bit of white wool into that hollow that you've needle felted here. It looks horrible when you do that because they've just got this white patch there now. Again, I'm not stabbing this very deeply. And then you're going to put a little bit of black over the top. So remember, the black needs to be smaller than the white, otherwise there's no point putting the white there. I just often put the black there and allow the needle to pull the fibers in. If you want your bunny to look up, then you need to have the white showing at the bottom. If you want your bunny to look down, then you have to show it at the top. If you want it bang on in the middle, then just put it bang on in the middle. Either way. Just add a little bit of black, allow the needle to pull the black fibers in, like that, and you've made yourself a little eye. Now, to give that reflection point that happens quite naturally when you put one of our glue-in eyes in, like this one here, can you see how there's a little sparkle, a little white that sort of changes around as I'm moving it? You can imitate this by adding a tiny little bit of white onto the black. When you're doing this, initially it will look really weird because all you can see is a white spot on a black eye. What you need to do then is you need to not look at it for a minute and then look at it again, and then it just looks a lot more natural. So that is one eye done, and then I would definitely move around and get the other one done, and then I show you another thing you can do to the eye. I'm just going to do this upside down so I can hold on to the bunny with my left hand. So I'm putting the white patch into that eye socket that I needle felted earlier. Compare it, it's about the same to the other. A little bit of black, definitely less than the white. Let the needle pull the black in, and you manipulate where it goes as you very gently stabbing the black in. If you think you've got sort of stray fibers, just try and wind them up onto your felting needle like you would wind up spaghetti on your fork. Needle felt that down, and then add a tiny bit of white for a reflection point if you want to. I mean, it's the tiniest amount, and let that sort of sit on the eye as you're stabbing it in. There. Right, so now you've got the eye on the bunny there. And what you can do is, I mean, it's done it naturally. It's sort of almost done a little brow here. But if you wanted to give it an eyelid, then you could use a tiny bit of brown, and you just roll this into sort of a little flat sausage shape. Don't need to felt this separately. Just lay it on top of the eye and just felt it down so that it overlaps the eye a little bit if you wanted to. It could give it a bit of a sleepy look as well. So that is without, this is with. That's entirely up to you. And then for a little nose, I would keep it really simple. So just use a tiny bit of pink. Give it a little bit of a pink nose. Again, don't stab this too deep because you don't want to flatten his face. And this could be it. If you've got a really light colored bunny, you could even do a little Miffy nose, like just a little cross. You might have to adjust the shape around this again because you disturb the shape by stabbing the nose on. And so you can go around it again. So he's got one droopy eye, one slightly sleepy eye, and one not. It's up to you which one you want to do. And then for a little tail, they actually have got sort of little flaps as tails. But for this one, just the simple bunny, we're just going to make a little round fluff ball tail. And all I'm doing is stabbing this in around the edges. I haven't felted this separately at all. I've just rolled it into a bit of a ball shape. Stab in around the edges, so you're fastening this tail on without flattening it, basically. Once you do that, you probably have to stab around the surrounding area. That is always one of those things if you've still got quite a soft shape. And you've got your little bunny is done, basically. There you go. That's your little bunny. That's without the eyelid. That's with the eyelid, and he can join his friends now. You can decide what you prefer with the glue in eyes or without, but you might not have a choice because you might want to make it as a decoration around children, even though we don't recommend that they're toys at all. There are decoration items, but at least you haven't got anything other than wool in this one here. And that's it, basically. So that's the bunnies. No doubt Alicia is going to find a winner now for our competition question today. And I'm just going to have a quick look. Oh yes, let's talk about upcoming subscription boxes. They've only just changed over. We've gone to the Fox, the Butterfly Fairy, and the Love Our Planet surprise box. But for next month, which is our 5th anniversary for the Makers box, you can look forward to the little owl. We have got the Queen Berry as a Queen Berry. What the heck? Queen Bee. The Queen Bee Fairy as a fairy box, and Street Party for the surprise box. Then we are doing a Badger for the Makers box, Ladybird Fairy for the fairy box. Okay. Don't speak. Okay. Hang on a second. Okay, so this is another blooper. Okay, so I think we have got two winners today. So you probably heard Alicia. She hasn't said anything throughout the whole live stream, which was just as well because I didn't have my earpiece in. I have got it in now, so I'm trying to remember. Oh God. Okay, so you might have to repeat it again, Alicia. But it's Lily K, and oh, I'm still on mute. Oh, now I've muted myself. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, there's a bit of editing going on before Thursday, no doubt. Anyway, the winner today is Lily K, and the second name I couldn't comprehend. I heard it, but I was too panicky about muting myself and then not muting myself and muting Alicia and not muting Alicia, and it's all gone to pot. So please, Alicia, tell me the second name again. Lily K and who? Da, 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 drum rolls, as Alicia would say. Yes, so I'm waiting for that. Let's just see if I can distract you with anything else. Oh yes, Earth Day competition. Whilst we're waiting for the second winner, competition time. Have you seen this already on needle felting? On our needle felting group, which is called Everyone a Maker, and you can participate by letting us know what is your innovative and creative idea of using the eco wool mats. Alison H is the second winner. And of course, this will be all different on Thursday. So it's Lily K and Alison H. And so talking about this competition time again that is happening over on our Everyone a Makeup Facebook group, you can win one of two £20 gift vouchers, and it's from the 3rd of April until the 22nd of April. And the 22nd of April is actually International Earth Day, and this is why we've got this whole competition to draw people's awareness to how we all take a responsibility to looking after this precious planet that we all live on. But you can tell us what you do with the eco wool mats when you end up with them in the kits. Remember, they are made from recycled wool. They are fully compostable after you've finished with them, and they're made in the UK, and they're exclusive to the makers. So do tell us what your uses are for this. There are too many buttons for me to push. This is always the problem. So I apologize for this little blip, but hopefully we can edit this out because nothing constructive has been said at all. So apologies. Anyway, we've made another bunny together, so that's good. There are 3 in a row now. You can make them in any color you want, and I'm just going to double check that I haven't forgotten anything. I think that's all of it. Yes, summer retreat. I talked about it. We talked about, yeah, upcoming sub boxes. Talked about that. Did we? Yeah, we talked about next live streams. Okay, all tick, 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 all done. It's over to you now to share with us what you have made. And remember, it's Everyone a Maker on our Facebook group, where you can share your pictures. You can also tag us in Instagram in your stories or in your posts, and our Instagram handle is @themakers. And thank you so much for subscribing to this YouTube channel, because we've reached the grand total of well, over 5,000 subscribers now, and I'm very, very pleased about this. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart and everybody else's bottom of their hearts. So I will see you soon. Take care, everybody, and yes, stay happy. Bye.